Today's lesson is focused on four key elements that you need to know in VBA, and namely it is objects, properties, methods, and argument. And why it is important to know all this? It is because when you are writing a code in VBA, you cannot remember everything. But if you know the distinction between each one of them, you'll be able to search online or wherever you're looking for information, understand bits and pieces of codes, and change them to suit your needs. So to understand this, I'm going to start with an analogy with a car, and then we'll look at some sample codes so we can relate to VBA. First thing I want to show you is objects. So for example, a car is an object, right? And within the car, you can have other objects. So for example, you can have a seat belt, a car seat, you can have an engine, and you can have tires, right? Now, all these objects have different properties. So for example, here I have some listed properties. I have color, size, brand, and horsepower. Obviously, some properties will not apply to all the objects. For example, the horsepower doesn't apply to the tire, right? But the horsepower apply to the engine, and so on. The color might not apply to an engine because we don't look at the engine color usually, but we look at the color of the body of the car and we look at the color of the seat. So in VBA, like in a car, you can change the properties of different objects. So you can change, for example, the color of the seat, or you can change the color of a cell, for example. Then we go to methods. Methods are actions. So for a car, it could be to drive, to brake, to accelerate, or to turn, right? And those methods might use arguments. So for example, if I'm saying that I'm driving the car, I can write an argument and say I'm driving straight, or am I driving to the left or to the right. If I'm braking, for example, I can say, okay, what is the speed change when I'm braking, and so on. And this is the same for methods that you have in VBA. So when you have a method like, for example, copy paste, when you are pasting the values, I'm just going to show you here, you have, for example, let's just do copy, we go here, we have paste special. So paste special is a method, for example, right? And you have all this as argument that you can change in the paste special. So for example, I can say I want to paste special only the formulas, right? And that becomes an argument. So let's see how this applies to VBA. Here I have written a few codes in VBA so I can show you. We start with properties. Properties, as an example, the first one is range a1.address, which is the address of a1. So properties, some of them you can change them, and some of them you cannot change them. So for example, the address of this cell, you cannot change it, you cannot set it, right? You can take it, you can do something with it, but you cannot change it. Then if you see, for example, here, range a1.value, so this is the value of a1, this object, I can say equal 5, so I'm setting it to 5. And this is how I can change a property. So if I run this, for example, I'm just gonna comment this because this one is not an action. I was just showing it to you. And if I do F8, you can see here that A1 becomes 5. Then we have a property which is color, which is changeable, within interior, which is an object, within range A1, which is another object. So this is the same as, if I show you back, changing the color of the seat. So we have the car, which is A1, interior is the seat, and then color is the property. So here, for example, if I run it, this will become red. So let's see together. As you can see, it's red. Next, we have something similar. So here I'm changing another object within my car or within A1, which is my font color. I'm making it red. So I do F8. Now it's red. That's why you cannot see anymore the 5. Then we have methods. So here, for example, I'm copying A1 and I'm putting everything in A2 here. And range A2 becomes an argument. Why it is an argument? Because if I write here range A1 dot copy, you can see here that I have something called destination. So destination is my argument, and I'm saying I want it in A2. So let's remove this and let's do an F8. You can see that I have copied this, right? Now, sometimes methods do not need arguments. So when I'm copying, I can just copy and not say where I want it, and it will just copy the data. You can see that now A1 is getting copied. Now let's change the format here and make it white, and let's delete this so I can continue showing you the rest. If you see here, when I'm writing a method with an argument, I have two ways to do it. The first one is this way. In parentheses, I can write the different arguments. The other one is to just name the argument, then I have a colon, equal, and I select what I want. So now if I go back, I just copy my data, so I do F8. Then if I want to paste, you can see that both of them will yield the same result. And it depends on you what you want to do. You can use this methodology or this methodology, it doesn't matter. Let me show you. If you do range A2 dot paste special, here if you see, if I open the parentheses, I can see all my arguments and the options. So for example, if I do XL paste all, you can see that here I have something called paste as XL paste type, and we have put XL paste all. If you see here, I use this paste, I put it here, column, equal, and then I did XL paste value. I could have done XL paste all and so on. And I can continue. I do a comma. I have my second argument, which is XL paste special operation. I can choose from it. I can just skip it if I want to. Then I have skip blanks and so on. So this is how I can do this, or I can just have this paste and then have another argument next to it. So this is how it works, and this is how VBA is structured. Now, if you want to look for methods, because obviously you cannot remember everything, what you could do is the following. You can write, for example, range A1. Once you do dot, Excel will open this menu and you can see what are the things that you can do with range A1, and you can choose from it. So that becomes easy. If you don't know, for example, what you could do is, for example, I wrote this, I don't know what's available. I can do control space and I can see, for example, here I have message box, so I can select message box and then I can open the parentheses and then I can choose whatever I want as arguments. So please let me know in the comment section whether you were clear on the differences between objects, properties, methods, and arguments, and whether this is useful for you when you search online and you want to modify a code.